All right, this is the Google Sheets assignment, and you should have opened the link for the Google Sheet template. And you're going to go ahead and just give that one, you're going to rename that if you haven't already done so. And so let's do this by make a copy, file, make a copy, and choose to rename it. I'm going to say Moser IBSD example sheet. Go ahead and open that. So once you do that, now you'll be able to edit this document. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through some steps on sheet 1, and you're going to follow along and do the same things as I do. If I'm going too fast, just push pause, complete the task, and then push play again. And after you're done, you're going to answer 2 questions here, one in the green and one in the yellow. You can just answer right here in cells B3 and B4. After you're done with that, you will click the share button and share that link to me on Canvas. So we're looking at some data, and the data has some questions in row 1 and then the data below it. So first column is student name, and there's some students listed there. Column B has a question, and C a different question with all the data pre-filled. And so now that I've collected the data, and you could have gotten this data from a form, you could have manually typed it in or copied and pasted it from somewhere else. And so we're just going to do a little bit of formatting on this data and make it look pretty and make it look a little more readable. So because the data, when I scroll, I lose the first column, the first thing we're going to do is go View, Freeze, Row 1. So now row 1 is frozen. When you scroll around, it stays put. The next thing I'm going to do is I want to actually freeze column 1, and column 1 is the same as column A. So we're going to freeze column 1. So now when I scroll to the right and left with the mouse and the trackpad, it hides the data behind column A. And so you can see it doesn't delete it, it just freezes column A. Excellent, and that's my name of my students, and those are my questions. And so now we're going to jump across this to column B. Let's go ahead, and the first thing we're going to do is wrap the text for column B. So let's select column B, and then up here you'll find the option that says text wrapping. So go ahead and select that one and choose wrap text. So I'm going to wrap the text for column B. Now what it has done is it changed the row height on all of these based on how much data was in column B. And so to make this look not so crazy, I'm going to stretch column B out, the width of column B, and now you can see the row height kind of comes back into play. And so I've selected column B, and now I have a better row height. Now I can do the same thing with column C because it also has some questions. And actually, let's do this. Let's take column 1 and let's wrap all of column 1. So where did that wrap go? Find the text wrapping, wrap the text, and now column 1 is wrapped. And so that gives us a little bit more play, and we can actually read now the questions in each one of these cells, where before we could not read it. And so I'm going to go ahead and wrap column C. So we got some wrapping on. You guys should now be super good at wrapping. There's column B and column C have both been wrapped. Excellent. Well, column D says, what was the date of this event? And I actually have dates in here, and you notice that they're kind of out of order. And this sheet, I need these to be in order of the date of the event. And so what I can do to quickly sort this is just hover over column D and push the drop-down arrow. It gives me some of the formatting options, but I can come down here to sort sheet A to Z. And when I do that, that's going to sort the sheet alphabetically based on column D. And since I've frozen the first header, it's not going to sort that. And so go ahead and hit that, and now my sheet is sorted by column D, and notice it captured all the data. So you can see my student name and everything stayed with the sorting. Excellent. Next thing we're going to do, we're just going to learn how to format an individual cell. So here we have a blue. Let's go ahead and format this one as blue so we can quickly see that they responded with blue. And this one is a green. And we have a black. Now black is going to be interesting because the text is black and the background is black. So I'm going to also change the font color to white. So now I can see that black one. We have red, yellow, orange, and green. So you can manually change the colors and the fonts for individual cells. Awesome. So now I'm going to scroll over a little bit and we're going to format, and this time we're going to do some conditional formatting. And for this row, I'm going to select all of this column. I do that by clicking on the F and choose Format, Conditional Format. And in this example, I want to change the format. I want to have a single color based on text that contains the value dog. And if it contains the value dog, I'm going to choose this formatting and say I want the color of that word to be green. So green text for when somebody answered dog, and I'm going to hit done. So now I have green text here and I have green text here because both of these cells include the word dog. So next, I'm going to jump at and look at how many siblings do you have. And so here's the response. And actually, it's interesting. The responses are sorted based on the date here, so there's some correlation going on there. And so in this column, I'm going to choose the H. And since conditional formatting is already opened, I can add a new rule to column H. And this time, I want to add a rule that says if text is greater than 1, then we're going to make that red. And we're going to hit done. And I might add a new rule that says if text is less than or equal to 1, then we're going to make that yellow. So now I can quickly see on my sibling list how many have 0 or 1 and how many have more than 1. In this case, there's only one that has more than one sibling. I can also use conditional formatting. So on column I, and I can select to add a conditional formatting in column I, and I can base that on a date. So I can choose date is or date is before or after. I'm going to choose date is before, and I'm going to say date is before, not today, but an exact date of January 1st, 1950. So let's format it based on January 1st, 1950 and choose a custom format, and we'll make January 1st, 1950, we'll make them purple. So my data takes on some new life and some quick, in just a visible inspection, I can see who was born before 1950. And if I wanted to, I also could come here to sort that, and I can quickly, group those over here. I'm going to hit undo. So I have purple for those that are born before 1950. The last thing I'm going to do on conditional formatting is on letter K. I just want to show you how this can work when you have a multi-scale. So instead of choosing a single color, so I selected K and added conditional formatting, I'm going to choose color scale. And what it's going to do is it's going to now group these by minimum maximum, and then it does a color tone based on that. And so we can choose to change that to maybe a green, yellow, red coloring scale and hit done. So now you can see your colors based on a continuum where green is the lowest and red is the highest, or in this case the hottest, or furthest distance traveled. So let's close conditional formatting, and that's one quick way to do some conditional formatting on your data. For some visual inspections. Google also has this new Explore button that you can find down in the bottom right hand corner. And what this Explore button will do is actually build some preloaded charts. And it takes a look at your data and it tries to generate charts that might be useful for you. And so if you find a chart, for example, how many siblings do you have, and you can see the breakdown by percentage, and it tells you the top 2 values account for 60% of the total, you can add that chart here by just clicking the little add button. And so it just, if it can save you some time if it's the chart that you're actually looking for. So let's go ahead and add that how many siblings chart. And the other thing is I wanted to show you how to do a custom chart. So let's go ahead and close this down. If I want to do a custom chart, I can actually select, say, column K, and I want to do a chart based on column K. So I go up here and say Insert Chart, and it's going to give me some options, some recommendations. Hey, these are some recommendations for those charts. So choose one of those charts that you think makes sense, and go ahead and just hit Insert. So now you have a custom chart based on the histogram chart for how far did everyone travel, and then you have a chart based on how many siblings they have. So that's sort of the overview on doing some of the charting, the sorting, and the conditional formatting within Google. We also did a little bit of freezing, and we did some basic formatting to make our data look more presentable. So now what you need to do is go to Sheet 2 and go ahead and answer questions 1 and 2. Once you're done answering those questions, you'll hit the share button. You will click the Get Shareable link and copy the link. See how it says copied? And go back to Canvas and paste that in for your assignment. All right, and if you have other questions, there's some other tutorials on the module that you can do and explore some more features. Of course, when you need, when in doubt, just Google it. So thanks for watching this example and doing this assignment.